Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Oh, sorry I'm late, but had a doctor's appointment, so I am here not for myself. I had to take someone else to the doctor, but um I am back now. Let me see. Okay, let's alert our friends on Twitter just in case. All right. And I'm going to say hello to a few people. Oh, okay. Um All right, let me see. Hello, Dorothy Ross, Brenda Timbo, Church Nelly, Novi D, or is it Navi D? And John Newbold, Frida Tanner, April May, Mary Hiker, hello, Marcy Foreman, V Cobb Rio, okay, Lisa Wood, hi, Lydia Washington. Hello, Lydia. Gwendolyn Daniels. Faith Manzini. Yes. Lucy Wynn. Hi, Lucy. Uh, Choda Sesi. Yes, right. We. Sawboss TV. Okay. And Betty is here. Myra. Glad. Thank you. Oh wow, 426. Well, let me shake a tail feather because it looks like y'all been waiting. I appreciate it. Thank you for your patience. Um, Now, since I was radio silence until I could get myself situated here, I hope I didn't miss anything because I tell you, I thought after April, the news was coming like fast and furious for April, and it seems like looks like this is going to be the exact same thing for the month of May, and of course June with the Jubilee and Troop in the Colors. And I tell you, after the pandemic, if I were one of the people, planning anything for the Royals, the good news is that things are opening up again. And so, one of the big attractions for people in the tourist season is the Royals. And of course, that really kicks off, I think, with the Troop in the Colors most years. So, although one can debate whether or not the Royals truly deliver in terms of tourism, because I tell you what, there's some places like, I don't know, France, where there is currently not a reigning royal family, and tourism wise, they do just fine. One of the most visited attractions in the world is, of course, the Palace of Versailles. So it is subject to debate, but you know what? It's the Queen's birthday, and it ain't got nothing to do with me, so I'm not gonna get involved with that. Okay. I couldn't wait to talk about this. I couldn't wait to talk about this. She understood the assignment. Now, do you guys know what I'm referring to when I say she understood the assignment? Go ahead and say, what am I referring to? Oh, but first, let's see what Joanne Baker is saying. They're not going to give Harry any credit for expressing concern about his grandmother's physical well being, not what the trashy British tabloid media do. Their job is to denigrate Harry. Yes, Joanne Baker, that is so true. They are not interested in giving him any type of 6 minutes and 520 people. Oh my goodness, that is so cool. Thank you so much for that. Okay. So, let me see. Oh, yes. I see you have it there. There you go. The Met Gala. Yes. Anybody else know what I'm referring to? Yes, Iris. Yes, the Met Gala. So Iris and who else got it? Maggie Howell got it first, I think. Yes, we're talking about the Met. Now, some people are very critical of the Met Gala, and I could totally understand that. Hi, Joanne Commonwealth. I see you got it right. And you know what? It doesn't matter whether you watched or you didn't watch, because there's a flood of images the next day. Now, as an artist, anytime I see something that is remotely artistic, I am like a huge proponent, a fan, a supporter, all of those things. I totally embrace the arts. Art is so important because it helps us to shape our thoughts. Um, some people don't really appreciate how important art is in terms of education, but it is because if you are going to be a good scientist or engineer, you have to have some type of creative component in you somewhere, and nothing cultivates that like an art program. Let me see. Can I see you? Am I supposed to? Well, I mean, I see this, but should I see your image somewhere, Marshar? Anyway, hello, Marshar. I'm so glad you're here. Did you say something before and I missed it? If so, I do apologize. I'm setting up, and the thing that I'm always concerned about, of course, since the weekend, is Anna Espinoza here, because I cast Anna into another time and dimension. And yes, the Met is art. You're absolutely right, Mo Shannon. So anyway, let's not toy around with it. Let's just go there. Um, this is the Statue of Liberty as it appeared before the oxidation, the patina, before that rich patina um, was able to coat the carper. And by the way, most parts of the shell that make up the Statue of Liberty is only as thick as a penny, or in some cases, not even as thick as a dime. But that is just a very uh, light skin of carper. Yeah, it's from the salt water. It is from the elements. Oh, no, let me see, Baron, you were lost today as well. You well, no, I had to take someone to an appointment, and things ran a little bit longer than expected. So, um, just to be safe, I gave myself another 30, and then to be even safer, I said, why don't I just make it a nice round, hour late? So here I am. Yes, I gotta make sure that I don't put a star on her again, because last time all HE double hockey stick broke out. Okay, so next, there it is. She understood the assignment. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had never heard of Blake Lightly. Is it Likely? Likely? See, I don't even know her name. I'd never heard of it before last night. But every year at the Oscars, there's the gown. Like when Holly Berry was there, when she won the Oscar, that was the gown. So this year, this, of course, is the gown. I am so impressed with this dress. I am so. Oh, is it lively? Not likely, lively. Well, that's not very likely, is it? Lively. Thank you, thank you. So, as the Statue of Liberty aged, that patina, that veneer, um, after it has been washed with salt water and pollution, it turned green. But don't worry, because that actually protects the carper from the elements. So that's a good thing when it turns green, right? So check it out. So after a little adjustments, off comes the first pair of gloves. They took this big bow off the back of it, and then next thing you know, there was one of the most beautiful, epic pieces of art wearable art I have ever seen in my life. I mean, last night I just studied. Yes, yes, Lorna. Yeah. Oh, Gossip Girls. Okay. All right. I didn't know that. I never watched it before. Uh, Karen. Yes, absolutely. She looked amazing. Um. Okay. Let's see. Oh, by the way, for the person that sent a Cash App and then someone else sent a PayPal, thank you very much for that. And also, I neglected to mention that I did get a PayPal. I mean, a Patreon. Um, let's see. Gosh, I hope you. Yeah, Pamela stands with Ukraine on Twitter. She joined my Patreon, and she told me to make sure that I mention because I suppose I'm so very shy and humble, but she's very proud to be a sponsor of Royal Sussex. So thank you so much for that. Pamela stands with Ukraine on Twitter, and I don't know what she uses on the YouTube. But yes, thank you so much for that, Pamela. I really, really appreciate it. That I mean, that you guys trust me to do this work. I cannot tell you how humbled I am about that and how much that means to me. Honestly, it does. Let me see. Not drunk, but mentally ill, which is worse. No. Oh yeah, John, we're going to talk about that for sure. We are going to talk about that for sure. I got a few things laid out for that already. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So there's a story behind this dress. There is a story behind this dress. What you see, that huge train that she has, by the way, that cut would make a stunning wedding dress, although it's not really modest enough at the top because I'm kind of old fashioned. I don't think it's a really good idea to go into a house of worship with bare shoulders, or as I found out one day, that I shouldn't have gone inside with an exposed midriff. Anyway, you can see the rich details of the dress. The ceiling of the was it Grand Central Station? Yes, Grand Central Station, right? The ceiling is the night sky, and one of the famous stories. Oh, so somebody was paying attention. I was just curious about that. Yes, I'm just kidding. I did not go into a house of worship with an exposed midriff. I was wondering if anybody was paying attention to that because sometimes I think you guys are just like having a conversation and ignoring me. But no, this over caffeinated chubby baby boomer did not walk into a house of worship with an exposed midriff or any other place where decent people can be found. So if I had an exposed midriff, people would think that it was a remake of the Poseidon Adventure. Okay, if I had a spare midriff, people would think it was a remake of the Blob. So there's no way in the world I'm going to go somewhere with an exposed midriff. But I digress. So anyway, that is what you were able to see on the back of the dress. That is a homage to the old Grand Central Station with the astrological, um, with the night sky and everything, um, the universe, if you will. Now, the interesting story about this, if you've never heard it, when the architects or the artist was given the blueprint, or the what do you call it, the the sketch or the plans for the painting, they actually looked at it the wrong way. It was supposed to Everything was supposed to be in the opposite direction, or the way we're looking at it is the way God would look down upon us. So, in other words, everything is reversed. It's like you do a flip on your phone screen when yeah, you understand what I'm saying. Everything is reversed. So that was one of the interesting things about painting that ceiling, which looks the same as it did when the place was built. Thank you, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, for spearheading the campaign to save this rail station. Okay, let's continue. The other thing, of course, is the Art Deco design. Art Deco of the 1920s seems to be the style of choice for the architecture in New York City back in the 1920s. There were other styles that were also important, including, believe it or not, Neo Gothic. But Art Deco ruled the day with the Chrysler Building, the what do you call it? The Empire State Building, all those other buildings, and of course the famous setbacks of the roof and everything. Very Art Deco, striking geometric patterns and such. So that is embraced with the dress as well as the Statue of Liberty. And if you look at the rich details, I mean to tell you, this just totally the dress tells the story. Was it Versace? Look at those details up close. The dress really tells the story of New York. That's what I loved about it. So there you have the gloves on top of the gloves. And they said the details is made up with patches of leather that has like a veneer of a metallic material on top of it. Oh, so it is Versace. You know, I didn't know. I was just so in love with it. I could not stop looking at it. I could not stop looking at it. Yes, yes. Nagazi, yes. The King of the Netherlands is visiting California to promote trade and commerce for the Netherlands, and I believe that's going to happen in September. Thanks for reminding us. Okay. Yes. So yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'm almost done with this. Just so that you can get a good close-up look of the most epic gown that I have seen almost in a generation. Art like this really this is a museum piece. This is absolutely a museum piece. And she did not disappoint. I'm not going to go through the whole fashion thing for the night. I was good right here. When I saw this gown, I was like, okay, I'm good to go. I am good to go. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds looked very, very good. He does. So one more time, we'll go through one more time. She understood the assignment and she walked in like this. And after a costume adjustment, when they took that big bow off the back of her dress, they were able to lay that down. See how the train was shorter? And now it is absolutely massive. I mean, not that it's up to me, but if you ask me, they could have actually gone a little bit bigger, and I think it would have been that much better. But because whoever goes up those steps, you really have to fill up that space. But yeah, that was one of the most epic things. Yes, Mary Hiker, I think so too. That will end up in the Smithsonian. I mean, what that dress by itself is a tourist attraction. And remember, there's another pair of gloves beneath those opera gloves. So where the guy in the middle there, he actually slips it off. There was a team of 3 people who helped her make the adjustment for that dress. Oh, I tell you, that is gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful workmanship. I wonder how long they're going to do a whole documentary about the making of this dress. I can guarantee you that. Okay, so hit it. Um, Windsor security farce, the fail of the century. Queen hit by shock security breach after imposter allowed into barracks just yards from Windsor Castle and stayed the night. Now, needless to say, this individual obviously was not of African descent, because if that was somebody of African descent, I'm telling you, they would have, while he was eating his breakfast, he would have heard click, 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 and that would have been the sound of a SWAT team looking down the back of his neck. There's no way in the world that somebody of African or Arab descent, of Spanish descent, or should I say South American, Latin, there's no way in the world that you would have been able to stay there that night. Yes, Connie, and I only just found that out about an hour ago, no, maybe 2 hours ago, that it was someone pretending to be a priest. I'm like, how does that happen? And you know what I love about this? I love the fact that Prince Harry has been proven right yet again. Prince Harry is always a step ahead. This is why you need not worry about the Duke of Sussex, because that young man, who I am so proud of, is always a step ahead of everybody else in that family. So much for him being the weakest link, so much for him needing his brother, so much for him out of his element, and all he's ever known is Narnia. So much for that. If Prince Harry has not proven yet again, if he has not proven himself again as being the sharpest tool in the shed, the sharpest, the brightest bulb in the lamp, the sharpest tool in the drawer. I mean, just and the way they made it sound like he was hallucinating or something like that, nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing. Prince Harry is always a step ahead. You've heard me say it many times. I'll say it again. Prince Harry is on it, and that's what bothers them, is that after all that negativity and everything, he has proven himself yet again to be on top of things. My grandmother, I want to make sure that she's got the right people around her. I just want to be sure that she's got the right people around her. Okay, let me take a look at a couple of your comments. Also, I'm looking for this thing about the priest, because as I have been away, um as I have been away from my PC, and I try to stay in the moment, I was not aware of that part of things until like perhaps an hour ago. So it just gets better and better, doesn't it? Or should I say it gets worse and worse. So let me look that up, and I want to see what it says about the priest thing. How come it's so hard for me to find the information? Let me see. Okay. And you know what? I don't want to sound okay. Maybe I shouldn't say okay. Um, oh, now when they said priest, um, you know what I was thinking? Okay. All right, I got People Magazine. So, investigation underway after intruder posing as a priest spent the night in Windsor Castle. Queen Elizabeth was visiting her Sandringham estate when the security breach happened last week. So that was last week. An intruder pretending to be a priest spent the night in the barracks housing the soldiers who protect Queen Elizabeth in Windsor Castle last week. An investigation into the security breach is underway after police removed the intruder, who talked his way into the Victoria Barracks. On April 26, while the monarch was away from her nearby Windsor Castle celebrating her 96th birthday at Sandringham Estate, a man dressed up as a priest claimed to be a friend of the Coldstream Guards military chaplain. He was also allowed inside without showing identification, where he reportedly spent the evening eating and drinking with senior officers. Within a couple of hours, he was drinking with the officers in the bar and telling them stories of how he had served in Iraq. A source told Talk TV he was telling lots of tall tales, and the lads were enjoying his banter and having a few drinks. It was only later when he started talking about how he had worked as a ejector seat test pilot and an ejector seat test pilot had some organs replaced, that the chaps started to get suspicious. Lord have mercy on my soul. A injector seat test pilot, and he had some organs replaced. Oh my God, how could that happen? How could that happen? That was when they got suspicious. You know what? They shouldn't have even gotten to injector seat test pilot. They should have been okay with organs. I mean, well, you know what I'm saying. They shouldn't have even have gotten to organs replaced. Oh my! How did? Okay, so I have a super chat from Sean. Will and Kate didn't receive an invitation. You think the Queen called and told Anna Wintour Will and Kate lost half the Commonwealth? I wonder how her face looked when she called Anna. Oh, I'm telling you, Sean. Um, I could imagine the Queen's face. I could imagine what do you call it? Prince Charles's face. I could imagine a lot of faces at the moment that they found out that that happened. But to your point, what? That was probably her face. Thank you for the super chat, Sean, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And thank you for the super sticker. Okay, so good looking out, Sean. That was just the right response in the moment, as per usual. Let me take her away and get back over here. And as promised, 30 minutes in, I really need to look at some comments here. Okay, let's go with Mo Shannon. Imposter stayed the night, ate, drank, and had been merry amongst the royal so-called watchers. You can't write this stuff. And Iris says, but they don't want to give Prince Harry protection. Iris, thank you. That is a brilliant point. If they can't keep Her Majesty safe, then how in the world can they keep the Sussexes or anybody else safe for that matter? Thank you, Iris. Very good point. Very good point. Joan Commonwealther says, yep, the royal mess up of the century. Nobody asked the man any questions. They accepted him with open arms. You know what? I hope this means that they're going to leave the Sussexes alone for a couple of days at least, at the very least, because they were like really gearing up to go after Harry and Meghan, especially using that recent book. And so hopefully this will take some of the heat off. Okay, just had a sip of water there. He could be under the jail if he was a person of color. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Like I said, if that was a person of color while he was eating his mutton, all he would have heard was guns clicking away behind him. Okay, so um the Queen car was forced to swerve during birthday trip drive. I've mentioned this before. I mentioned this before that as you can see there, as you can see there, they won't even put a seatbelt on that old lady. How are they keeping her safe? They won't even put a seatbelt on her. Now, that particular day, she put on her, courting lipstick, like she about to go courting somewhere. Who knows? But they won't even put her seatbelt on her. Her Majesty was seen in passenger seat leaving the Sandringham estate when a Nissan approached her Range Rover at speed. Now, see, if they would have had to jam on brakes, she could have got hurt. They would have got lipstick all, she would have had lipstick all on the dashboard of that Range Rover. I'm worried about her. I mean, her little face would have went into God forbid she would have slid under the dashboard or something like that. Keep that old lady safe. That is somebody's grandmother and great grandmother. She is the spiritual embodiment of the nation. And here they got her riding around with no seatbelt. Her head barely clear the dashboard. If they would have had to stop suddenly, she would have got lipstick all over the front of that car. So that's all I'm saying is that yeah, and great point because we all we all remember that day that Prince Philip's car became airborne and jettisoned across that when when poor Prince Philip had that rollover accident at that intersection and broke that lady's arm. So in order to avoid that stuff, they have to make sure that they keep these people safe. And Philip wasn't wearing his seatbelt. I know y'all picturing Philip hanging upside down, cussing and you know looking to see if there's any people of color coming. But no, that wasn't the case. He wasn't hanging upside down by his seatbelt at the time. I think he was 96. No, was he 90? I think he just turned 90. But yeah, so I'm picturing Philip hanging upside down by his seatbelt. He wasn't even wearing his seatbelt. Anna Boy, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And please, Anna, make sure you always wear your seatbelt just in case somebody, I'm not saying Prince Philip, obviously, but in case somebody car come jettisoning across and ricocheting across the intersection, at least you'll be safe. But that poor woman got her arm broken. So um So yeah, and that's why Harry said they have to make because what how much how much effort would it have taken to say, Your Majesty, Mom, please put your seatbelt on so you don't get lipstick all over the dashboard in case some Nissan cut us off. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. And she wasn't even driving, you know? She could have, they don't wear their seatbelt. The royals do not wear their seatbelt, especially when they're on the Windsor estate or Sandringham or whatever. But she literally could have mushed her lipstick. And that's all I'll say about that. Sonia Johnson, thank you so much for the. Did I say that already? Oh, no. Yeah. Sonia Johnson, thank you so much for the super sticker. And also, thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. And thank you for not mushing your lipstick all over the dashboard. But that's so cute. She's wearing her little babushka and everything. That's very sweet. Who knows? She may have some gentleman call her somewhere. You never know. But she had on her very racy red lipstick and everything. So I think it's all very sweet. Oh man. But yeah, that's the visual I won't soon forget. All right. So thank you so much for the super stickers, everybody. Okay, so right here. Interesting that this would be reported the day after Prince Harry's comment about Her Majesty the Queen being safe and surrounded by the right people. We still don't know what he meant, but if anything, everyone is going to pay more attention to her welfare. Well, not from the looks of this because she don't even have a seatbelt on. She could have um, pushed. They could have slammed on the brakes and sent her lipstick right into that leather dashboard. So or wood veneer dashboard. So obviously, obviously, they're not they're not paying attention to her welfare. She's not even wearing a seatbelt. Oh, okay. So, and then if that's not enough, this old queen right here, what's his name? Edmund, whatever his name is, he has the nerves to say something about throwing the Sussexes off the balcony. And as someone just pointed out, that is very much creating another safety issue because there's already been threats made against the Duke of Sussex and the Duchess of Sussex, Inman Holmes, that's his name. And of course, given that situation, some crazed sycophant of the royal family might want to come after them. They could very well find themselves in harm's way, especially when you have someone making those incendiary comments like that. So here's my theory. When they said a priest, I'm not sure that it was a priest. What if Thomas Markle was the one that's over there? You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know where he is. What if Thomas Markle was the one who was posing as as a priest? I'm just saying. What if Corporal Markle? I mean, he was in uniform, right? He didn't have to show ID, so obviously it was a familiar face. Are they just embarrassed that Thomas Markle has managed to become part of the household cavalry or something like that? Think about it. That's just my theory. They said he ate, so obviously he brought some KFC with him. So maybe Corporal Markle, maybe he was the one that somehow managed to make his way into the barracks. Huh? Not to say that he's a drinker. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying but I had to think about that last night. I said to myself, who could possibly have been welcomed? And maybe they're just making up the part about it being a priest. Maybe it was actually Thomas Markle. Think about it. Maybe it was the Duke of Mexico, the Earl of Rosacita, Mexico. Maybe it was the Count of KFC. Maybe he was the one who made his way into those barracks and sat up there and shucked and jive and got drunk and everything. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So that's my theory until we find out better. Maybe drunken priest was code for Thomas Markle, huh? Maybe drunken priest was code for Thomas Markle. Who else would have had the proximity to the situation. Yes, I love that. Tugboat Thomas. Yeah, so when I thought about it, I said to myself, who else could have gotten that close except for Thomas? He seems to be everywhere, and he said, they owe me. They owe me. He will be there. He's training for his position as part of the household cavalry so that he can surprise everybody and show up for the jubilee. He's already there, possibly, allegedly, for the jubilee. Oh, Lord. Anyway, so again, even that old queen, Eamon Holmes, wants to throw somebody off the balcony. But take a look at this. Pagan Trelawney said, what date was that? I can't see the date. I guess I don't know what it was. I forgot. But anyway, the family are there, but are not primary caregivers despite advanced age. Her two close ladies just died. Her dresser just released a book saying the Queen drove her to drink with her shouting, while at the same time letting her out of the house looking like this. As you can see there, she has the unknown bruise on her leg, which could just be an issue of taking blood thinners. And then she also, her buttons of her coat is not even lined up. And when she first walked out the house, her coat was wide open into the damp, cold air. Her coat was open. Lydia says, Lord, no content creator from Sussex Squad could have ever do a Harry and Meghan interview, especially you, Baron. These memes, perhaps Alicia Keys. Yeah, I think the Sussexes wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole. All they have to do is just start looking into the vast archives of videos, and they'll be like, nope. If anything, I might end up on somebody's watch list. The Derangers were accusing Dan of setting off the Sussex Squad by having Thomas on his show and saying he'll bring him over. He'll bring him over. It looks like he's there. It looks like he's there already. I mean, make it make sense. How do you explain they until they show the photo of the person? I'm still skeptical as to who the person could actually be or if it happened at all. Let's see. Harry was truthfully about the safety of the queen. There, the so-called priest, whomever, the guards gave him alcohol and prepared him place to sleep. Yes. They even gave him bedding for the night. Obviously not a person of color. Let me see. Prince Harry needs to talk, or is it take care of his grandmother, because Will and Kate are not doing it. They are waiting for her to pass away and William's father to pass away to so he can be king. You look, I hope they're waiting. I hope they plan to wait. Okay, so there you have it right here. With all eyes on the rest of the royal family, who's looking after our queen? So, as you can see, as I just said, she steps out into the damp, cold air of England, which was very damp and cold at the time, and her coat is open. You know, she doesn't have that babushka on. And she doesn't have her babushka on, and of course, she has her walking stick. So how is she supposed to manage with her purse, with her stick or cane, if you will, and put on the babushka and fasten her jacket or her coat rather, which you can see was not even fastened in the correct manner. So there's a lot going on, and it is very strange. And obviously, Prince Harry saw this photo and was absolutely horrified. So Prince Harry goes on the Today Show interview and he mentions to ooh, every time I see how big her head is, it just takes my breath away. So they mentioned ooh, she got a big head. He told Hoda that his grandmother is obviously not safe and that he needs to just assess, my words, of course, if she's got the right people around her. um, and she has, what is the M for? I don't think I've ever seen that for M. Okay, so right here, Prince Harry interview. Queen's dearest wish for the Jubilee. Harry and Meghan invited to join royal family for balcony tradition. Well, we don't know if that's true or not. They're just, saying that, but we don't know if that's true. If we don't hear it from the Sussexes, if we don't hear an official statement from Buckingham Palace or Clarence House, then I would pay no attention to that. But it's good for selling papers and for clickbait. So, of course, for that reason, that's why they brought it up. So, let's see. Yeah, I don't know why I put that slide on there, but yeah. Hoda, Harry interview. And then that's when the British tabloid press, they went crazy. Oh, they were just like, how can he protect her all the way from California? Well, I tell you what, his words all of a sudden resonate more today than they did during the time of the interview, with this whole thing about yet another intruder on the grounds of Windsor, not exactly within the confines of the castle, but within the realm of possibility. He could have easily just hitched a ride, or who knows, maybe there's some connection between the barracks and the actual castle that is the public is not privileged to. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe there's a connection underground or somewhere that we don't know about. I don't know. They say he didn't actually breach the castle, but we don't know that for sure. Um oh, yeah, I just threw that on there. Okay, so Prince Charles' AIDS fear, and this was just to be shady. Prince Charles' AIDS fear Harry and Meghan will overshadow the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. by bringing Archie and Lilibeth to the UK and creating a circus after Thursday's tense first meeting since, oh, I don't like to say that M word, between the warring family members. Well, of course, because it's the Daily Fail, they have to make it sound so much more than it is. They always have to be too much. Warring family members. Um, what else was that trigger? Oh, tense first meeting. Who's to say it was tense? They got in, they got out. Just that simple. And nobody was any the wiser until they were already safely ensconced in their luxury hotel suite in the Netherlands. Okay, irrelevant. No one cares. I'm convinced the British press. And by the way, this part is just for the derangers, for the hate watchers. This is all for you. Irrelevant? No one cares. I'm convinced the British press, plus most royalists, said these kind of things as a coping mechanism. Harry and Meghan's popularity, especially when they had some engagements on the same day, if your future king and queen can be overshadowed that easily. And then Anne Boleyn said, honey, they have always been scared of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's star power. So, yeah, this wasn't really necessary. But again, this is for the derangers. I just figured since it happened at that time, I would just throw it in. So, right here, man stopped in Windsor Castle. So this was actually just something that someone at, what is that, Break Your Own News? Yeah, someone made this as a parody of some weirdo being seen on the grounds of Windsor Castle. Now, when this was made, this particular image was repurposed after the guy with the what was it, a crossbow? I mean, like, this is medieval times dinner and joust. Who scales a fence with a crossbow? Some intruder who, I don't know, bumped his head and woke up and thought this was 1658 or something, decided to scale the walls of the castle with a crossbow. Who in the world uses a crossbow in 2020? Was it 2021 at the time? Or was it 2022? Some fool scales the wall with a crossbow. And so at the time, before we knew the details, that's when somebody made this: man stopped and detained attempting to enter Windsor Castle on Christmas Day. And for some reason, they thought it was fun to put his face. But then again, that is a face that is really fit for purpose for anything sinister, sly, slick, shocking, um, train wreck, stupid. He fits all of those. Greedy. I mean, you name the malady, and he goes with it. You name it, he goes with it. He's like the seven deadly sins in one person. So anyway, I digress again. Let me take a look at a couple of your comments. Lucy, oh, that's for Lucy Wins. Okay, I'm not even gonna mess with it. Okay, Mo, enough. Okay, anybody got something for me? So anyway, when I went to Windsor Castle, I was wearing an exposed midriff, Daisy Dukes, and some cowboy boots. And I got the little bracelet to take the tour. I went to the throne room and let me see. It should be trending on Twitter how is it Prince Harry was ridiculed because of his concern for Granny, and they said he's irrelevant and to throw him and Meghan over the balcony. Yes, absolutely. So, y'all wasn't paying attention, huh? I said, I okay. I think somebody was listening to me. Oh man, I would like to see that image of me in oils. I would really like to, or even watercolor. Okay. Okay. So since I've gotten your attention again, okay, Lisa Wood says you wouldn't think being on the balcony is the best thing in the world and beyond. Well, I'm cool with the Sussexes doing the balcony thing if that is their desire. But I just don't want them anyplace else with that family where they would be vulnerable, especially the carriage ride. I wouldn't want any of that for them. And as you know, with the Troop in the Colors, that is a very fine tradition. Is the senior royals take the carriage from the Buckingham Palace down the mall to a parade ground nearby. And then after that parade and, presentation and presenting the colors or whatever, which is a way of pledging your loyalty to the sovereign. If you guys remember some years ago when the Queen, excuse me, allergies, some years ago when the Queen was on horseback, she was, I believe it was Trooping the Colors, and someone fired a starter pistol. It had blanks, but it frightened the horse, and it was like a very nervous, tense moment for everybody. But it was just somebody, I guess, trying to remind the family how vulnerable they are. And yeah, so that did happen that time. And so there's been a lot of interesting security breaches where that family is concerned or the threat of a security issue. Okay, that's not for me either. Okay. Baron, they want to get a photo of Harry standing next to, oh yeah, ugh, yes. Yes. And you know what, Sonia Johnson, thank you for reminding me again why it's a bad idea. I say, you know, okay, fine, if that's what the Sussexes want. But it's just like with that memorial service, they would have had Harry and possibly Meghan, if she had gone, sitting over there on the side with that monster on the screen. And that would not be a good look. Yeah, because they're always trying to equate the Sussexes with him. That's the little campaign they have, is to try to put them together as though one has anything to do with the other. Okay, Prince Harry wants to protect Queen, and right people are around her. Ensure the right people are around her. Duke of Sussex unsure if he will attend the Platinum Jubilee, citing security issues and everything else. Right, the Duke of Sussex has said he wants to ensure that his grandmother, the Queen, is protected and has the right people around her. Adding that, let me see. Oh, I guess I don't have the other part of that one. Astonishing. Okay, yeah. It's weird how all of this stuff is happening back to back. Astonishing crime report at Royal Palaces revealed in hundreds ongoing, that is, hundreds going unpunished. A total of 470 crimes were recorded at Buckingham Palace, Kensington Palace, St. James Palace, and Clarence House, either inside or immediately outside the grounds between 2019 and 2021, the Metropolitan Police reveals. So, again, Harry knows Harry knows that the Queen is not safe. And the Queen, and I'm not saying that there's anything nefarious going on or that there's some kind of plot. I couldn't speak of anything like that because I don't know of anything like that. But I'm just saying that the Queen may have another possible 5, 10 years of her reign left. It is possible. At some point, it may be out of the sight of the public, but she may possibly have more years of her reign ahead of her. So if there's any crazed lunatic or something out there who just doesn't have the patience to let things happen naturally. Again, the Queen does not seem to be very safe, and Prince Harry is quite alarmed by that as well. He should be, no matter what we think, whether you are a monarchist or an anti-monarchist. That is his grandmother. That is someone who stepped in. I know this is weird to hear, but she did have to step in and step up in the absence of Princess Diana. Whatever you think about it, that's just a fact. And so her relationship with Prince Harry is very important to him. Again, that's none of our business. That is his grandmother. And so, for that reason, he is quite alarmed as to whether or not she's safe. As well, he should be. That is his grandmother. So I'm just saying, but even though a lot of us are caught up in our feelings, the facts are the facts. Now, there was a particular time when they thought there was an intruder at Buckingham Palace, and the Metropolitan Police, that is, pounced that individual, beat him to a pulp, and nearly shot him. Oh, I'm just saying, this is not an actual photo from that event. It just looks like it could have been a photo. And they said he was hot. Oh, he was furious. But they said that he was back there in the garden at a time when they weren't expecting to see anyone. And then all of a sudden, here comes this bumbling fool with a teddy bear or something under. Who knows why he was back there? But they knocked him to the ground before. Um, RBDG Creative Podcast, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for joining Royal Sussex, or should I say, watching Royal Sussex. And happy Tuesday to you. Happiest of Tuesdays to you. Thank you for being here. Do you have a podcast of your own? I see creative podcasts. If so, congratulations. All right. So we'll have to check that out, right? Okay, I'm scanning, looking for some comments. Oh gosh, there's so many. I'm going to have to skip over these and just go all the way to the last one. Okay. Baron, I know you don't want to say it or even think it. The House of Windsor is a modern day Game of Thrones. Kim, you see right through me. I'm as shallow as a glass of water, aren't I? Or should I say, ain't I? Time for QET to take a vacation to Montecito. The security is much better there. Woo! You hit it right on the head. Exactly. Exactly. Have y'all had enough of somebody looking like they got punched in the eye, or should I leave this here a little longer? I'll take it away. Oh, there's like a air of shadiness in me today. I'm not sure exactly, but I think there's just an air of shade somewhere. Okay, Mary A. I'm going back the other way now. So true, Baron. Very strange. Maybe the Queen told Harry something that worried him of her safety. Amen. Rory B says, oh, that's for someone else. And Andrew needs his mother's support. He should make sure she lives as long as possible. Yeah, yeah, because after the Queen, there will be little or no protection. Once Charles gets used to those royal patents, it's going to be weird for him. Letitia Malone says, "Okay, Baron and Squatties listening in background, have a lovely evening, and don't forget our nephew Archie's birthday on Friday." Yes, Archie's birthday is coming, and I keep forgetting to mention that. because I'm usually feeling a mite shady. But yes, you're absolutely right. His birthday is Friday. Okay, I'm gonna go to the absolute last one. I am sure when the Queen is gone, Charles will make sure Andrew is never in the forefront. Well, you know what? I have some more stuff about Andrew. Okay. Prince Harry indicated he wanted to protect the Queen, and the British media made fun of him. Then the articles about the high number of crimes at the royal palaces came out. Now we heard they are hiring a security chief. Yeah, now that was the only time I saw anywhere was when I first saved this for another you know. But if they are hiring another security chief, it needs to be somebody, I don't know, somebody rather, gruff, somebody with the right kind of temperament. In other words, somebody that nobody is going to mess with. Somebody that won't be taken for granted. And since Lloyd Austin is already serving as the Secretary of Defense here, I tell you, just the sound of his voice is enough to, make somebody stand down. So I don't know. I don't know. You know, what kind of person they could find that would, that would be able to handle it. Somebody who would be able, just by the sheer appearance or by their stature, someone who would be able to, um, get people to fall in line. You know, somebody who obviously is no stranger to combat, or I would even say perhaps someone who was I know, the son that Prince Philip always wanted. Oh, you knew what I was doing. Amelia Rodriguez, you have been watching Royal Sussex entirely too much. You're starting to, not only you, I see somebody. The one person who has managed to look up a possible kidnapper or assassin, looked down the barrel of that gun and said, "Nope, I'm not coming with you," and that's that. Oh Lord. Somebody who ain't gonna take no stuff off of nobody. That's all I'm saying. Somebody who's got the right stuff. Somebody who's just gritty enough, tenacious enough to handle people. So yeah, you guys knew exactly. Oh man, a little Royal Sussex goes a long way, don't it? A real bad mother, hush your mouth. That's who they need to work as the security chief. Anyway, y'all, let's keep this moving. Oh boy. But you know what? I'm telling you, she keeps some knuckle dusters in her purse. She keeps a little pair of knuckle dusters. I mean, who's gonna mess with her? Who? Would you? I don't have the courage. I don't have the courage. As a matter of fact, I'm even convinced that this happened because of this one. Once all that stuff came out about, that embarrassment for the family, something tells me that somebody said, just hold them. I'll handle this. Just hold them. Oh boy. Okay. All right. You guys, that's enough fun. We have to keep this moving. Let's see here. So the Queen's Guard, men who protect Majesty, Her Majesty rather, live double lives. Well, Obviously, obviously. And then there was that curious story that came out. And see, you really got to look between the lines. There was that curious story about Kate to the rescue. Kate Middleton, wanted by Grenadier Guards to replace disgraced that person as their colonel, right? I don't know what she was. I mean, well, I mean, that would confuse somebody who had something nefarious in mind. Somebody who, yeah, if I was trying to jump the fence and that was the first thing that I ran into, I would probably I would turn back and go the other way too. Yeah. So I okay, I can see that. I can see where they're going with that. Um Ladies and gentlemen, the Phantom of Westminster Abbey. Yeah, in order to repel any possible invasion, all they have to do is have her play them 3 notes over and over again. That would be enough to fall a army, let alone, someone with a crossbow. Oh, man. I gotta stop. I gotta stop. This is very serious. Her Majesty may be in danger, and you all are making jokes. All right. So, that's enough about jazz hands. Let's continue. I'm trying to maintain a certain amount of decorum with Royal Sussex today, and you all just keep pulling me in the other direction. Reminds me of the intruder guy. Hide your wife, hide your your queen. I saw that one before. I saw that the guy that was like, "Hide your wife, hide your husband, hide your kids, hide." Yeah, I think he had that do rag or yeah. Oh, you guys are too much today. You guys are way too much. So yes, again, these are very serious topics, and I think we need to have this discussion just to make sure that we are all on board and on the right track. So again, I'm doing my best to maintain some level of decorum and no false concern. We are just really here to make sure that Her Majesty is as safe as possible. So that's what I'm here for. Let me take a look at your comments and see what's up with that. Um, okay. All right. All right. I found what I was looking for. You guys know I was stalling as usual, but I found what I was looking for. All right. Um, so let it suffice to say, in the immortal words of Sweet Brown,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay, okay. So, Lorna Williams says they have lots of people at MI5 that are qualified, but the royal family does not want to pay a living wage. Yeah, the royal family is notoriously cheap, and so when they try to get somebody,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
that's usually the first thing that come out of their mouth is,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
we'll pay you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do it again. And the reason why I'm not going to do it.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay, so I got that out my system. That was for you, Joan Garcia. Oh, man. All right, so let's get back to the topic here. So, American tourist, 25 years old, who jumped over fence into Buckingham Palace stables while suffering from psychotic episode, is fined £200 after admitting trespassing charges. Now, when they said psychotic episode, the first thing I thought of did he like come face to face with some weird anomaly and looked it in the eyes and suddenly just went berserk? Could have caused what could have caused this young man to suddenly lose his disposition in such a fast and unusually quick manner to the point where he felt as though he needed to jump over a fence to escape? What could he have possibly have run into that would have caused such a shock? You know what? I'm not even gonna try no more. Oh boy. But something startled him. Something spooked him. Something, something. I don't know what it could have been, but he saw something whilst visiting the United Kingdom. Maybe he glanced into a passing motorcade and saw this and just freaked out. I don't know. Um, oh. I don't know. I don't know, Lydia. He saw something, but something was so jarring that it caused him to literally lose it. Um, that is one possibility, but then there are other things that can cause one to freak out. You just never know. Okay. You guys, we have to keep this moving because there has been a breach of security, and I want to get to the bottom of this before the day's over with. And y'all keep playing. Y'all keep playing. This is serious stuff. So stop it. Okay, crossbow intruder at Windsor. That's it. Somebody with a crossbow, armed police swooped on 19-year-old caught roaming castle ground with lethal weapon yards from Queen. Well, they didn't say anything else about it. So who's to say exactly what happened or whatever? But that is concerning and rather alarming. So, um, and then remember that time they had invited that person to a state dinner that almost ran the queen over? Remember that? The queen was trying to walk, and this big lumbering wall of flesh kept cutting her off. If they were really taking care of the queen, they should have never, they should have never had him, or should I say, have her walk beside or near or over or past her. That could have spelled doom for Her Majesty. That right there was one of those moments when they could have lost the queen, was just inviting that crazy person over there. And then, of course, he offended her by asking her or telling her, "You did a terrific job on Bohemian Rhapsody. Great song." Oh, okay. So, any comments, anybody? Okay. Notice the font size 2 print at the bottom. Duchess of Sussex win legal case. Yeah, that was extra small, wasn't it? Okay. Let me see here. What about the man who pretended to be a priest yesterday and spent the night at Windsor on it was on the Lorraine show. Well, we talked about that, Mercy. We talked about that early on. That was like probably the first, oh, I don't know. Well, No, actually, it wasn't even the first. I think it was like at about the 25-minute point or something like that. But yeah, we did discuss it some time ago. Oh my goodness, we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes, and there's 955 people in the live stream. Please make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. You guys, we are so close to 14,000 subscribers for Royal Sussex. So if you are a deranger, if you can't stand to watch Royal Sussex, at least you could do is subscribe. That's the least you could do, just so that I can know how many people have disdain for Royal Sussex. So please make sure you subscribe. Okay. Oh yeah, let me see. What was that? Demanding. Okay. Yeah, he demanded to ride alongside her in the carriage. Rage when turned down. Yeah, he wanted to ride in the carriage, and he probably wanted to ride in that golden carriage, the one that the Queen uses for the what is it? It was Coronation Day and such. So yeah, that's probably the one that he wanted to ride in. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, you guys, we're going to change gears. We are going to change gears. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? It just looks like she's saying, can you dig it? Okay, here we go. Hillary Clinton wears a Bordeaux colored gown designed by Joseph Altaruza. What is it? Altazara? With the names of historic women sewn into the hem and neckline. They include Abigail Adams, Shirley Chisholm, and Madeleine Albright. We just lost Madeleine Albright. But yeah, so Hillary Clinton was at the Met Gala for the first time. I believe it was in 22 years, they said. She hasn't been there in 22 years. And last night was the first time that she has returned to the Met Gala. So she looks absolutely beautiful. As per usual, her hair is stunning. So welcome back to the Met Gala HRC. Where have I heard that before? Oh yeah. Welcome back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean. Jimmy Dean. So so that happened last night. Any more comments? Okay. You guys are good, huh? Morgan was criticizing Meghan for not meeting. Oh yeah, I remember that. That's when we found out how that that other YouTuber, remember? Hello. That was when I first turned against him. Was when they had that state visit and he was getting a little overly excited and animated. That was when I first what do you call it? Stop watching. Hello. And plus I was irritated with that anyway. Hello. Let me see. Darren, it would be nice to welcome your newest member and members. I've been just reminding you of, thank you. We have some new members. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, of course we do. Thank you for being a new member to Royal Sussex. But you know what? When I'm looking at, that is a great point. But when I'm looking at what do they call the StreamYard? The new members do not pop up on the StreamYard. It will if I open up another screen. And so sometimes I do not see when I have a new member unless I am on the and that's a good reminder too. I usually open up a second screen so I can see that. And I'm going to do that right now. Thank you for the reminder. Let me see here. Okay. And to your point, I am going to scroll back and see if I have any new members, which I can't see any right now. But if you are a new member to Royal Sussex, thank you so much for joining Royal Sussex. Thank you so much for your membership. And thank you for being here. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Yeah. Okay, so got my other screen open. Thank you very much for that. And let's move on. Oh, let me take that away. Let me see. Okay, Lorna Williams says, remember the Orange Menace was late and the Queen was standing waiting for him? Yes, that did happen. That absolutely did happen. And she looked to her closest aide. Where is he? Philip? Yeah, she looked to her closest aide when that happened. I'm not sure what she said. It may have been Philip. Okay. All right, you guys, a little change. Need Afro Annie. So one of the squatties, let me see. I cannot see up in the corner there. Not on the StreamYard. Okay, Prince Max. That's what they have up there, Prince Max. Prince Max says, remember when I first saw this picture, I was so impressed. I was like, how the HE double hockey stick is Kitty Girl can't let Diana's sister or Mother Doria have a seat. And now I know what, and now I know it was done on purpose. This is the easiest picture to crop the unwanted people out of course. If you notice, yes, Doria is standing. Diana's sisters are standing. But if you look either left or right, you'll notice that once you crop the photo, you can get rid of Duchess Doolittle. Of course, the egghead. You can get rid of Charlie. And of course, you can get rid of the unwanted stepmother-in-law. That was brilliant. I didn't notice that. But yeah, you just easily crop it and they're gone. If only you could do that in real life. You just crop and they're gone. Poof. Poof. And they're gone. How brilliant is that? How brilliant was the photographer to, okay, now you stand here, now you stand there, and you stand there, okay, and then you two in the middle, and okay, hold it. Huh? Huh? And then that way you don't even have to put it in like a landscape like frame. You can just put it on it would fit perfectly on anybody's desk. Huh? Come on now. How brilliant was that? Yes, I like the crop version better. It didn't make sense at first, but now all of a sudden, it's perfect. And you guys thought I was the only shady one in the family. I am not. There are others. There are others. Like, for instance, Prince Max. Yep. Out of sight, out of mind. They're out of sight and they're out of my mind. Yeah, this person had foresight. Yeah, I think it was Samir, what's his name, the photographer? Samir something. Anyway, I think that was his work. I think he did the wedding photos. So he probably came back for this. Perfect. Yeah, they said that when Duchess Doolittle, they said that she was sitting there like she couldn't wait to run out of the room. And then they said William was in the background looking like a bouncer down in some pub somewhere. So, yeah, who needs them? Crop them out the photo. Duchess Camilla will appear on the cover of British Vogue this summer. Speaking of shady, Kaiser at Celibacy, this is her favorite photo of the Duchess of Cornwall. Um, she uses this photo anytime she has to reference the Duchess of Cornwall. It is a great photo. I just love the texture of that crushed velvet that she's wearing. Don't you? It just looks crushed the way that they were able to set the pattern and texture and everything. I believe that's crushed velvet. So very lovely photo. Absolutely lovely. I know. What is it? Daria. Yeah, I know. I see it too. I see it. But that's Kaiser. That's her favorite photo. Hmm. Oh, thank you, Sean. Thank you for the super chat. Yes, and I know it kind of looks like something set up down at the home and just started talking. I know. Um, oh, you're not convinced that I'm being yes, I do love this. It is I've never seen anything like it, Connie. Oh, by the way, Connie Balmer, welcome to Royal Sussex. All right. What is this, Lakehurst, New York? Oh, the humanity. I'm showing my age that I know where that happened. Let me see. All right, moving on. Moving on. So, uh judge rules that Tulsa massacre lawsuit seeking reparations can proceed. Again, judge rules that Tulsa massacre lawsuit seeking reparations can proceed. I believe that there are 3 living survivors from the Tulsa massacre of 1921. There are 3 living survivors of the Tulsa massacre, and they want their reparations. And so as I looked at that, I said to myself, I know I have some more information. So I found in my receipts this image that you see, Black Massacres, Chicago 1919, Springfield, Illinois 1908, East St. Louis, that Illinois, yeah, East St. Louis, that's in Illinois and Missouri. Anyway, Illinois is in Illinois. 1917, Tulsa, 21. Vicksburg, 1874. Slocum, 1910. And on and on and on. Now, someone that I want to interview that I really need to talk to him about that. It has been so busy with everything. I haven't had a chance, but I wanted to ask him about the whole idea of reparations and, of course, the transatlantic slave trade and such. But it was interesting because when he mentioned that there was a a massacre in the town that he comes from, I told him, I said, well, you know what? That happened in the United States that very same year. So it's almost as though when these things happen, quite often when they do happen in the United States, they can happen in other places as well, in other countries. But yeah, there is a long history of massacres. Like you could even see 1923 Rosewood. They made a movie about that. They literally could have made a movie about any of these massacres because the one thing that is a constant is that at a certain point, when African Americans here in the United States found themselves living the so called American dream, where they were able to buy property, maintain a school or perhaps maintain a thriving business, when they have a community with a high street or a shopping district or a downtown where they are living as well, if not better, than the white people that live in, say, the adjoining community, then all of a sudden there is like the night riders coming, or there's some type of incident that has alleged to have brought down this reign of terror upon the people in the Black community. It has happened over and over again. So I believe there was a hotel and a few other things. As you know, Tulsa, in case you guys have never heard of it, if you're not from the United States and you've never heard of Black Wall Street, there was a district in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a area, a neighborhood, a community, a city within a city, where very prosperous and prominent African Americans were living extremely well, much to the dismay of some of the poor, less educated white people that lived nearby. And so they came up with some contrived story about how some white woman was assaulted, which is usually how these things get started. They say that, and that's something that goes all the way back in the history of slavery, where they allege that a Black person has, or a Black man rather, seems to have this fantasy about a white woman, and that they're trying to take our women, that they want our women, when actually it was the Black women in the community during slavery and thereafter that were never, ever safe. The least protected throughout the history of the United States has been the Black woman. Full stop. The least protected. And we all know who the most protected is, but the least protected is, of course, the Black woman. And so, and least protected is not only the physical harm to the Black woman herself, but by coming up with these chain gangs, by putting charges upon a Black man, taking him away from his family, leaves the woman and children vulnerable. There's so many different ways that someone can suffer from abuse or be assaulted, and by dividing the family like that post slavery, that was just another way to inflict some type of brutality upon Black women. And so, as they say, there is a way for reparations. The whole point that I'm making right now is that there is a reparations movement, not just in the Caribbean, not just amongst all the other countries in the Commonwealth, not just for African Americans because of the slave trade, but as you can see, there are so many places, so many opportunities for reparations. As you look at that map, each one of those places where there was a massacre, there is someone who can seek some type of reparations. Like the family in California, where the local authorities took their beachfront resort property and just made it into a city park. Well, finally, the state of California has paid that family reparations. My point is, this is not going to just go away. And if anybody thinks that they're going to just use the clock and run the clock down so that people won't seek reparations, I want my 40 acres and a mule just like everybody else. I want whatever I got coming. Reparations is not going away. It is here, and it is going to be a thing. And so, as they try to close the borders to the Western industrialized countries for people of color, as they try to push people out of these countries, like with the Windrush, it doesn't matter. Reparations are required, and it's not going away. So, get your checkbook ready. That's all I can say. Get your checkbook ready. because it's not going anywhere. When I saw that, I was like, yes, yes. Yet another nail in the coffin. And that came out what, May 2nd? Yeah, so just yesterday. That's when the judge cleared the way. It's not going anywhere. So, okay, so that was my soapbox moment. If these children were strong enough to survive boarding school indoctrination, many didn't, then white children are strong enough to learn about it. Again, reparations. When I saw that, it just took me right to this point about, of course, the Prince Charles and Camilla going to visit the indigenous or the native. I'm never sure which is politically correct, but they are going to visit those tribal lands. And obviously, because Prince Harry invited this gentleman to come to the Invictus Games, uh, essentially to ask permission to use the land for the coming 2025 Invictus Winter Games. Let's see, Councillor Dennis Thomas was in The Hague, Netherlands last week to represent the four host nations for the announcement that the 2025 Invictus Games will be hosted in Vancouver and Whistler with support of little whatever was Lewat Nation, Musqueam, let me see, Squamish Nation, and what is that, Tesley Watooth Nation. So Harry is asking permission, which is what should have happened in Belize. They disrespected the locals in Belize, and as I learned in Downton Abbey, they were foolish, and so they were paid out for their folly. They did not ask permission. They just said, "Oh, um, they're going to show up. They're coming. They're going to show up. Like it or not, they're coming." And so when they found out that they were going to try to jazz hand them, they said, "Oh no, 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 no," and they protest. And what happened? They didn't come. Again, get your checkbooks ready because reparations are going to be required. Okay, so that was that. Just wanted to get that out my system. Before I move on, let me see. Harry knows about the injustices. The injustice that these people endured. This man is miles ahead of the family. Yes. What is that, Francilia Mosley? Yes. Again, Prince Harry seems to always be a step ahead of that family. Oh, and by the way, I left my phone on today and I just noticed someone sent me a Cash App. Thank you so much for that. I won't say the name in case you use something different or not. Or anyway, just to be discreet, I won't say it. But thank you for the Cash App. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, so let me see. Charles and Cowhide already getting pushback for their up and coming visit. Mascara, I haven't seen that yet, but somehow I am not surprised. And yes, Sabas, we talked about that. $8 million for the yeah, I think we talked about that the other day. Yeah, instead of costing $8 million, even if it is 8 million Jamaican dollars, how about you bring 8 million pounds for some type of reparations? Yeah, you know what? To prosecute that case, I'm going to say it again. Petal, oh boy, Petal was very spirited in her comments about the Caribbean, as well she should be, given her roots in Caribbean. But she was very spirited. I'm telling you, the way Petal was carrying on, she could have made a cop cry. She could have absolutely have made a cop cry. So, Petal, if you're listening, I applaud you. That was quite spirited. It was quite necessary. And I'm telling you, the toughest cop would have cried if Petal would have just had that conversation about anything. So even if it was taking the last jelly donut, even if it was taking the last jelly donut, Petal could have made a cop cry. I was like, wow. I don't forgot what I was doing, but I was listening and I'm like, Petal, come on, come through, come through. So yeah, Petal is on Fact and Two Cents. If you guys haven't watched it, Petal is on the Fact and Two Cents channel. It was quite the performance. I'm like, Petal is on this today, and everything that she said was absolutely true. It was absolutely necessary, and again, I applaud the spirit of it. So, okay, moving on. Um, oh yeah. Where is she? Where is she? You ready for it? Here we go. So one of the squatties, sorry, I don't remember whose Twitter I got it from, but did this, and I thought it was absolutely cool. The squatties are so creative. There are so many artists in the Sussex squad. So many artists. Yeah, Julia Rock, I love Petal. Petal is everything. I love Petal. Let's see. Instead of throwing this jubbly, they could do something of use with that money. Yeah, I think they said, which country was it? They said they only built two schools. They only built two schools since they gained their independence, or since they joined the Commonwealth. They've only built two schools. The Commonwealth doesn't give anything to the communities. The whole prestige about being part of the Commonwealth of Nations. Well, let's face it, up until the 1970s, it was still called Empire Day and not Commonwealth Day. How about that? Gwendolyn, and oh, I'm sorry, that's not for me, but I'm going to join in anyway. Gwendolyn in Canada, it was First Nation, the Chinese that built the railroad, and the African Americans that escaped slavery that were treated badly in Canada and still goes on today. Well, let's not forget the Chinese also built the Transcontinental Railroad, or the Cross Continental Railroad here in the United States. And then they had a law on the books to prevent the Chinese from immigrating. That's interesting that they would block the Chinese but keep black people. They never wanted black people to go anywhere. Well, I mean, what? And you know what? Why should they? Let's face it. For a lot of African Americans, like it or not, those are our relatives. Those are our relatives. My DNA says that one of my ancestors is from Ireland, England, France. I have a few different places in Europe where I have some sixth, seventh, and eighth cousins. So go figure. I wonder how that happened. That'd be an interesting conversation, wouldn't it? Okay. Cookies and Cream says the Unroyal family love to spend other people's money and never their own. All they do is hoard up riches for themselves. They're nothing but unroyal hoarders. Absolutely. Okay. PQ Mont says most Shannon so far over 1,800 unmarked graves have been uncovered in the indigenous children who died at those schools. You're speaking of Canada, of course. I saw a documentary about that. It was absolutely heartbreaking. And you know what, guys? I am a documentary junkie. Um, the Canadian history is a mirror image of American history, which also mirrors so much of even the British history, in that for people of color, very similar experiences have happened. And for people who are natives or indigenous to other lands, such as Australia, again, It's like holding up a mirror to the United States and to Canada. Yeah. And it's sad that they use the church to perpetuate so many of these atrocities. Okay. So, let's move on. Where are we? Oh no. If I could say it like Phoebe on Friends, oh no. Oh no. So look who's unhappy now. It is hauntingly familiar to those days of Princess Diana and Charles when they would travel or they would actually do some royal engagements with one another where they looked very glum. And you can see how Charles is leaning away from Diana. She's leaning away from him. And the same thing is happening below, except for sometimes Kate leans toward William, but almost exclusively William is leaning away from her. Where is the body language experts? Oh, and also, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they did not enforce that invisible contract for Kate at this occasion. Did you notice that? No invisible contract. You can tell the invisible contract because that's when the filters come out. But sometimes the invisible contract does not enforce with overhead lighting. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Oh, I think that is the end of our slides, and we're almost at the end of our day. I see a lot of people have taken off. There must be another podcast on somewhere. If so, that is totally cool. Um, as per usual, we are going to give love to our faves. Let me see here. And then I'll look at your final comments. And then we are going to ginger adventure ourselves out of here. I haven't eaten anything today, which is so rare for me because usually I wake up and rip the door right off the refrigerator. But today, because I had to go to that appointment, I haven't eaten anything yet. So I need to go and have some food. Okay, thank you so much, Princess Diana, our Queen of Hearts, and thank you, Queen Doria, our Queen of everything. Thank you so much for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, for Archie, and for Lily Diana. Thank you for making this union, that family, possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't help but think that Princess Diana knew that Prince Harry was going to need some help somewhere down the line if he was ever to escape Narnia. Okay, so with that, let me take a look here. Any last comments before we ginger avenger ourselves out of here? Let me see. Anybody? Let me see. Remember when Meghan wore a white dress and her white hat, and the haters were saying crap about her? Do you mean for that first visit to the Westminster Abbey when she wore white, or was it when she was pregnant with Archie? Thank you so much for being here, Karen. Yeah, if you guys need to go, go ahead and bust a move because we are going to ginger adventure ourselves out of here. Who wants the last word for the day? Anybody? Before I go and eat. Oh yeah, Duchess of Success. I don't know what time she's coming up, but I believe Duchess of Success is scheduled for this afternoon. So you have that, and what else? Okay. Anybody? Last word of the day? My Baron moderators, thank you. Jacuzzi, Last word of the day. Somebody, something to unite us all, something deep and meaningful. Not a compliment for me because you guys being here are all the compliment I need. Huh? Somebody say something. Please give us something profound. Okay, I'll let Sweet Brown have the last word. Okay, ready?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys. And cue Ginger Avenger. Okay, where are you, Ginge? Let's do this. I just love watching that. Just as a reminder that there are so many people who love the Duchess of Sussex. So many people that love the Duchess of Sussex. And even though the Derangers have been going after the Sussexes, and of course, the tabloid media have been targeting them like crazy um, the past few days. Do not be discouraged by any of that stuff. Don't worry about anything to do with the Netflix or anything like that. Netflix are having trouble of their own. It has nothing to do with the Duchess of Sussex's character or her abilities, but they are just going through some rough times. Having, as one of the squaddies remind me the other day, that they had to lose all of those accounts in Russia because of the war in Ukraine. And of course, there are so many other competitors out there. So worry not for the Duchess of Sussex. She is going to thrive, and we are going to be there to support her no matter what. So we got her back. We got Harry's back. We are here for the Sussexes and anybody else that the Sussex squad has taken an interest in and supported over these few years. So thank you, everybody. Love you so much. And I will see y'all tomorrow. I am going to eat before I pass out. So thank you, Lydia. Thank you, Church Nelly, Mo Shannon, Sherry Ware, if you're here today. Cookies and Cream, and who am I? Oh, Anastasia, Isabella. Thank you, moderators. Thank you for keeping this a safe space. Okay, love you guys. So long.